Hey everybody, it is 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and that means you are listening to Chopping It Up with your host, Keith Saarloos. Yes, the guy who makes wine and sells cupcakes over in Los Olivos, California. This is our little chance on a Sunday morning to talk to the people in our valley who make it special, people who have found our little home, people who have lived here a long time and make it better. And today I have a very special guest with a very new thing coming to our valley. State your name for the record, sir.
John Wright.
Hi, John. How are you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
All right. So let's roll back a little bit. So most people would know you from Standing Sun.
Correct.
And all the concerts and stuff that you guys would put over. I mean, I went over there and heard, give us a little list of the people that you had play through there. I mean, Kathleen Seek. We'll just start there.
Has played a lot. Kathleen's played a lot.
Yep.
We've had bands like Cody Canada, American Aquarium. We had the Revivalists played there.
Yeah. I saw Tom Curran there.
Tom Curran played there.
That was big for me.
We've had a number of touring artists come through that have been really great, and smaller bands to big, national touring bands.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
So let's start at the beginning. How did you find the Valley, man?
Moved from the East Coast.
Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Maryland, D.C., moved to New York, lived in Manhattan for a while, lived outside of Manhattan, Bucks County, Pennsylvania for a while. At that point, I was an architect doing preservation work, and I was restoring old barns in the rural parts of Pennsylvania.
Okay, just so you know, this is why I asked this question.
Right. Things you never knew.
Everybody, we're going to play the game. Things you never knew, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get into restoring barns?
I have 2 master's degrees in architecture, one of which is a preservation degree. And so I started, contracting work when I was 15 and put myself through college as a contractor and building barns and taking them apart and putting them back together mostly for weekend people from New York, their weekend houses and stuff in rural Pennsylvania. It's all pre-internet stuff, way back.
Awesome.
95 to 2005 or something.
2 master's degrees.
2 master's degrees.
Nerd.
Yeah. And been pretty much, and then went and started making wine. So moved to California in 2006. Moved to Santa Monica, then to Malibu, and then to Santa Ynez. And when we were living in Santa Monica, we bought a weekend house up here.
Awesome.
And kind of like, we literally came up here for a weekend and went into the real estate office, saw the girl at the front desk that probably only worked on Saturdays, and went and bought a house that same day. And then started moving up here.
The Valley found you.
Yeah, it was wild. We had a really good time. Raised our kids here between family school and Dunn Middle and the high school. And, at that time I was married and we enjoyed it thoroughly. And then, since then I'm still the only one here. Everyone else has moved on.
Got it.
But I still love it. And I'm tied to the winery. I'm tied to the Valley, tied to this new project. And I love it. I love it here.
So let's talk about this new project because this is, I love the fact that you did it. So I didn't have to.
Right.
Because this is fantastic. Tell us all about what you're doing now.
So basically I've created a vinyl listening room that's going to have it has a food component, it has a pizza component. So it's a wine bar, it has beer, it's a restaurant, and it focuses mostly on the fact that, people are looking for a space where they can kind of, unclick from their, their phone and so forth and kind of settle into a night of listening. And so we might play full albums, we might have a guest DJ, but as a whole, it's a listening room. It's a more kind of chill environment where we're playing great music. We've got a great food component. We've got a great wine list. We're featuring all sort of local wineries that are real small production, most of which don't have a tasting room or anything. We have some larger wineries too, but as a whole, we're featuring, small production stuff in general,
And where are you located?
We're over in the Founders Square market, which is near Chomp and the new creamery and stuff like that. But basically, if you went from the creamery and Chomp and you went towards the coffee shop, we're kind of in between the two.
I love the fact because one of the things I just personally, and I'm always thumping this to anybody who will listen, is, we're living in a digital age and we're lucky enough to have a analog childhood and a digital adulthood, right? And a lot of great things come with a digital adulthood. You don't have to leave your house to watch a movie, and everything's streamed right to your pocket. But one of the things I've always struggled with is, I really do like going to the movies, and I just went and saw The Odyssey. went up to Santa Maria Mall, walked around the mall, you know, and
It's a whole experience.
you know, and I came home and I bought 3 tickets, and my wife and my son couldn't go. So I flew poor man's first class, and it was all sold out. And I had an empty seat to my left and an empty seat to my right. Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Spread out.
It's just all spread out. I got a bucket of popcorn. And there is a certain amount of beauty going to a movie theater and hearing the gasps and hearing the laughs and, you know, hearing people cheer at the end of a movie. And you're like, hey, we all did this together. This is awesome. Yeah. I love going to the music and going to the bowl. There's a totally different, you know, I always go back to music, and I know this is a huge component of yours where I could, like, concerts on TV are never going to take off. They're just not. No. You know, they could say, oh, you can watch this on, and you're like, what's the point, man? But having gone to as a kid, going to a record shop or, you know, Licorice Pizza or The Warehouse or Sam Goody or Tower Records or whatever, I loved the aspect of going out and being a part of a community. Yeah. And what you have done, and this is 100% me throwing flowers at you, is that analog experience and being communal and going out and enjoying a bottle of wine with a couple of people, listening to the same thing, tasting the same thing, is a very primal part of who we are as people. And I'm just personally applauding you, man.
Great.
You made a great decision here.
It was a journey.
What's the name of it?
It's called Analogue Room.
Oh my gosh, what a magnificent turn of phrase.
Yeah, so it is not digital.
So what was the idea behind this?
You know, it really was a evolution of ideas. The first idea was that it was going to be a wine and beer bar. I found the space, and I liked the space. And already having a tasting room and being in the wine business, I was kind of like, I kind of want to expand on that. I wanted to find something new in that space and not just do another tasting room. Yeah. And then it kind of morphed into like, well, it should be a restaurant too, so that there's a food component, so that then it's not a bar. It has, you know, kids and families can come. And then it was like, well, how can I curate something? I was thinking about just a small, you know, solo act live music thing. And I was like, I really want to tie in the music component. And I think I was in Miami, and I was walked by more of like a coffee shop vinyl listening room. And
by the way, have you followed the Japanese ones?
Yeah, I mean,
those are awesome.
I went down the YouTube rabbit hole of all the Japanese listening rooms, and it just, that ritual, you know, that ceremony, that the things that you talk about with, you know, going to the movies, putting on an album. It's no different than, you know, opening a bottle of wine and, you know, making dinner. It's that process that you go through that gives you those sensations and that satisfaction and that community and sort of stuff, and that makes the memory. Yeah. And so, you know, that idea of doing that as a community experience just seemed to make a lot of sense. And so I didn't want to do, you know, a coffee bar, and I also went to some nighttime, you know, hi-fi bars and stuff, and they were a little, you know, one was in Miami, and it was just a completely different vibe. Sure. Wouldn't work here. But as a whole, I loved, again, it's the same thing why I fell in love with making wine. Was it wasn't the tasting room that I fell in love with. It was the cellar.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and it was the barrels and the tanks and the forklift and the pumps and the hoses and all that stuff was just spoke to me as an architect, as a contractor, as a builder. I saw all those pieces. And with the Analogue Room, I have all those pieces again. Yeah. I have the wires and the turntables that really, you know, they really move, and the glow, you know, tube amps, and the, you know, and the all the stuff that gives warmth, and you can adjust, and it's not, you don't just press play. You have to make it play, and you have to experience it in that way. And so it's taking the time to pick a record and open it up and look at the album art. Okay. And, you know,
you're in my warm fuzzy zone here, because so nice. I've always said, you know, old albums specifically were the poor man's art. Yeah. Right. If you have a nice album collection back in the day, and I know we're kind of dating ourselves here, but when you had albums, you would put it up. Yeah. Right? You'd put it on the wall. You would say, somebody walk into your room when you were a kid. Yeah. You could almost immediately know who that person was by the albums, the posters, the things they have just hanging on their wall. To get a poster. Exactly right. And then the times of sitting back, and I know one of the things by being Analog and such a great name, Rarely do you sit back and like even CDs to a certain extent. I just remember when I was a kid, you get Appetite for Destruction, right? And you're like, oh, look at the album art on this thing. And then you would pull the sleeve out and start unrolling it. And you could see every single word that they printed on that album. And you just laid back and you put a set of headphones on and absolutely get lost
Tune out the world.
Tune out the world, you know? And the thing I am super excited about is the convenience that we got from digital. Like now in my pocket, I have every single album in human history. And yet my Spotify wrap up at the end of the year is just the exact same stuff that I've been listening to for a long time. Right. Yeah. But I'm lucky enough to have an 18-year-old son. And he's like, give me the aux cord. Right. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is you guys have been open how long now?
3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. Yeah. In the first 3 weeks of people coming in and unplugging and things like that, I want to hear from you, you know, your field notes about what people are experiencing and what are the unintended consequences that you maybe didn't think of, but what are the things that you're most excited about seeing people come in, putting a needle on the record maybe for the first time and sitting back and being a part of like a shared experience.
Yeah. We've got a lot of people one that's most surprising to me is the number of young people. My two basic, the guy, Joe, that's running the kitchen, and Blake that's running kind of the bar, and my general manager, both are in their mid-20s. They're friends of my son's, and they both are very into classic rock and, you know, and
awesome.
And that's like all they listen to. And so, you know, they listen to some
We're
newer
back,
stuff,
baby.
But yeah, it's like, and my son does the same thing, and your son will do the same thing too, because they're familiar with what I did the same thing with my father's music, you know. And
my stupid kid likes Black Flag because of me,
right?
You know,
I remember, you know, my son getting a Black Keys album when he was 12,
right?
You know, and it's like
that old classic album,
right? You know? Yeah, it's like or listening to Nirvana when he was 12, you know, and so there's something about the generational aspect of this, you know. One of the people that are coming in they're asking to hear, you know, Prince, or they want to hear Chicago, or they want to hear, you know, certain things that like.
Just so you know, this is why I had you on, because I want to know. I want to know what people are doing.
Mostly people are just sort of in awe of the process. They're, you know, they know that this stuff exists. They know that it's out there, but seeing it happen in front of them, they might have a little player at home or something. They might have a few albums. Some people, we get some really great, you know, people that are very enthusiastic about this stuff too. But as a whole, the general public that's coming in is just loves seeing the process of it and loves just listening to whatever plays. And, you know, we weave from daytime stuff to that's, you know, more along the lines of like Eagles or Joe Walsh or something like that, or some, I don't know, and something more easy listening at the beginning of the day, you know, and then we'll weave
little
into
yacht rock.
Yeah, we've got some Moody Blues, some Michael McDonald, you know, we could put some of that on too, and then we'll get into some more, you know, a little more heavier stuff later in the evening. Yep. And it's everyone's just, I don't know,
they're curating a vibe.
Yeah,
man.
No one's really like saying like specifically, can you play something? They're just kind of letting us do what we do, which is nice. And then every once in a while, someone will pick something specific, but we're still figuring out that vibe too. Sure. You know, we do have some rotating DJs that will come in and they'll play their own stuff. We had one guy that came in, played a lot of house music and stuff that was really fun.
I want to guest DJ.
You can guest DJ.
Yes.
I just right before I walked over here, I was talking to someone that walked by. They left the off the record store, which we've been partnering with on a lot of things. And Chelsea over there said, go down and see Analogue Room. Right before I left to come here, I'm telling these people, I'm like, come in and look real quick, but I got to do an interview.
Awesome.
And they came in, and he was a DJ. He just DJ'd at Skyview Motel up in Los Alamos, and he's going to come down and DJ at some point. This Friday we have Justin, who's one of the record store employees and DJs at Off the Record, and he's going to come and play from 6 to 10 on Friday.
Sweet.
And so we're letting people bring their own energy too.
Yeah.
You know? So we're not trying to like,
well, it's kind of what you did at Standing Sun. I mean, I've always thought, like, you know, at somebody's house, art is how you decorate your walls, right? Wine is how you can decorate your palate, and music is how you decorate the space in between spaces.
I agree. Yeah.
And one of the things I'm super excited to hear you talk about is, number one, you're creating a community atmosphere, right? If somebody just walks in, they can sit down, relax, not say a word to anybody else, and just kind of soak it up. Or they can be a participant, which is a very beautiful, rare thing, these days. It's like when you were just discussing about, people being part of the process. I always go back to the taffy store that shows people making taffy, right? Sells a lot of taffy. And having this music aspect of it, people walking in and going, hey, can we play this? And sure, we'll throw it on or whatever. I don't know if you do that yet. But that seems like a really fun, just like group experience. Yeah,
we've got records that people can walk up to and they can thumb through them, and we do get people that ask, can you put this on? And so we kind of have like a little area where people might put a couple albums down, and then we'll, we're not necessarily playing a specific song. We might just put that album on.
Awesome.
So we're not taking direct requests per se, but we're letting people guide us into what they're feeling at the moment.
Yeah, what they're into.
Yeah,
it's like high fidelity for wine. I like it.
It's like a tasting. Yeah.
Yeah. I just actually rewatched High Fidelity recently, which made it come to mind.
Right.
It's like that was always the weird part. And I had years ago when we were opening our tasting room and we were just kind of talking about it. The person who used to work at a record shop, specifically in LA, kind of transferred at one point to working in a wine shop.
Right.
And then it was really important to them, what you like.
Right.
And Silver Lake Wine, which is like, I've known those guys for years. We're always kind of like, so tell me what you're doing tonight. And what are you doing? What are you eating? What are you this? What are you that? And there's always been, and I think you hit the nail right on the head with this, is there's always been that same thing. Like, what am I feeling like in the morning? What do I feel like at night? The music I work out to is different than the music I put on,
cooking dinner
or late at night, or just having ambient stuff in the background. And wine kind of follows a little bit of that same trajectory.
Yeah.
There's stuff you want to drink outdoors. There's stuff you want to have with a big meal. There's stuff you're just sitting on your back porch watching the sun go down with your partner and going, hey, this is great, and I think wine and music go hand in hand. So tell me more about the food you guys have there.
So we're doing a sort of a focaccia based, kind of, it's not really, I guess it's thick crust, but it's a square pizza. So far we're just doing margarita and pepperoni.
Perfect.
But today,
what more do you need?
I know it's been, that was definitely the beginning, and we're expanding a little bit. Today we're going to the farmer's market. Joe, the chef, will be there, and we're going to search out some other ingredients, some other things. We're going to probably add one or two more pizzas by this weekend. And so we do salads, we do the pizzas, we do, it's one square or a half or a full pizza. The full pizza is 11 inches by 16. It definitely feeds 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of start to expand a little bit. But we're all in all, we're going to keep it simple. We're not going to have 10 different things.
Smart move.
We're going to keep it simple, but we're sourcing, our greens from Finley Farm. We're sourcing,
Awesome.
stuff from the farmer's market here. We're, working with local bakers and stuff to do the par bake crusts. And then we're just, kind of just assembling, we're not going crazy with it. So it's all super fresh, but we don't have to we're not making the dough and all that sort of stuff that takes.
You're an analog listening room. You're not a pizza place.
Right. And it's nice. The finish it takes like 10 minutes to finish a pizza. So
awesome.
It's really nice.
So what's your go-to? You clearly love music. I mean, it's like if you're going in, what is on your playlist currently? What do you listen? What's in high rotation?
I tend to listen to a lot of the artists that I used to have at the winery, which it could be, a lot of things like Jamestown Revival, or it could be like Ryan Bingham or something like that. Not that he was there, but but that's sort of like, that singer songwriter, kind of verging on a little bit of outlaw country and stuff.
People with something to say.
Yeah, all in all, from early on, I always loved music, but what I really started to love music was really the Counting Crows, specifically because of the lyrics. It was the first person that really made me pay attention to the song and the story. And later became friends with Adam Duritz, and I never told him that or anything. But that,
well, he knows now.
Yeah, he's definitely listening for sure.
Of course, man.
And but that the story can be so powerful in such a small amount of words.
Yeah.
And since then, just dove so much deeper into other genres that I wasn't, really paying attention to, earlier on.
Let's hear what.
Well, I mean, even going back to like stuff like I used to listen to like The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and the Smiths and all that sort of stuff. And at the time, I was a 17-year-old kid skateboarding in D.C. I wasn't sitting still listening to the music.
Right.
Now I put on Echo and the Bunnymen and I listen to, the whole album like it should be. And I listen to the songs deeper and and it reminds me of things that, at the time from 20, 30, 40 years ago. But as a whole, I think as it might be that, growing older and being, slower about things and being more focused on things, has allowed that. But, like you said about music, it can be so deep and so many layers to it that, it's nice to kind of go back and rediscover things that, maybe they made sense back then, but they don't make sense now, like
that recently happened to me where my son, being 18 years old and then getting to grow up in this valley, said, "Hey, we're going to a concert." And I'm like, "Okay." And mom was out of town kind of a thing. And we went and I'm like, "Who are we going to go here?" And he's like, "I'm not telling you. We're just going." I'm like, "All right, let's go." Hop in the car, drive down. We, donated some wine he's like, "We're donating wine, so we're going to get some tickets." Like, hey, whatever it takes, bud.
He knows.
He knows the game. And we show up and I'm like, "Oh," and I look and it's Jack Johnson. Right. And we got to go see his, surf film music, documentary.
Nice.
And I think he kind of didn't tell me because I'm not really the biggest Jack Johnson fan. And, if he's listening, of course he is, sorry about it. Now I am. Right. And he loves them. Just absolutely digs it. He loves to surf. It's like kind of right down the pipe for him. And sitting there and listening and being older a little bit, I go, "Oh, now I like this."
Right.
It's something totally different than maybe at the time. Maybe I liked, No Effects or punk music or outlaw country or any of these different things that I was like, nah, I'm not really into that. And now it was really fun to have my own kid who has a record player, who loves music, who is introducing me to bands that maybe I should have heard. And I think that Analogue, what you're doing, is exactly that on a group setting.
Right. Yeah.
It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
What's some of the weirdest stuff you guys play? What are you shocked by?
We just picked up. Oh, geez, I just watched their videos last night. It's like that French Canadian band.
The one that plays off beat.
Yeah,
and they play in like 8/16 time.
yes,
and they wear a costume.
Yes.
Right. What? Okay, just so you know, this is fun because you're listening to just so you know, one of the cool parts. Something like that. Where like what I love about Crazy Country, Carp and all these guys here. I mean, there's 5 independent radio stations left in California, and this is one of them, right? And we're so lucky to have our own little college station here. But getting turned on to new music, right, is almost, I won't say almost impossible. It's really easy to get stuck in your rut, right? Unless you have a kid or you have somebody going, you need to check this out. And I think that's one of the fun parts about like, what is this? And you're like, why do I like this?
I know. I listened to the album, then I went home and I YouTubed them and I watched it like a live performance and I'm like lost in it going like, I don't know if I like it or if I love it.
Yes.
Like I can't quite tell.
It's scratching a very weird itch. I don't know.
I mean, I think for a little while and to experience it, it's amazing. I mean, I don't know if I would listen to it every day of the week, but I think it's one of those things like it just opens your eyes to something. And then, like I saw, then, something else popped up and someone's interviewing them and they're in costume and you can't really hear what they're saying. It's like this whole thing, like, they're just creating their own mystique.
And in the same vein as wine, it's really easy to get stuck in your rut where like, I love Pinot. Yeah. And then somebody comes and brings a Gamay and you go, what is this? And you're like, try it. Yeah. If you like Pinot, you'll probably like this. And people like take a slug and go, hey, that's pretty good. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're on some other total kick.
Yeah. No, there's lots out there, lots to explore.
Not that I said we were going to talk about this, but we got about 5 minutes left. You are one of the few people I know that got to go to the World Cup.
Yes, we went to 3 games.
So if you just tell me about it, I mean, this is just one of those things because you went, my buddy Jeff Seek, our mutual good friend Jeff Seek, and I just talked to him yesterday, and I'm like, so tell me about it, and he loves soccer. He's that guy that gets up at 4 a.m, like an absolute goon.
I think that was the best part, was taking Jeff Seek, because I know how much of a fan he is,
By the way, I'm going to say it to you. You picked the right person.
Yeah.
Because that's the person that's like crying when you walk in and you're like, should I be feeling like this?
He held his emotions together, but it was pretty amazing. I mean, the first game we went to, I went with my partner on him. We went to the England and Paraguay game. Yeah. And that was amazing I'd never experienced a World Cup game.
This is what I want to hear about.
Yeah. I had seen a couple matches, but I'd never really paid attention.
I'm an American, just so you know. Yeah.
And we went, and I love F1. Most people love F1 now, and that's such an international stage. And I think that's why people now it seems like this World Cup was so much more popular, maybe because people have been tuning into F1 too. Yeah. I know it's been very popular, but that international stage is just so amazing. And we sat down, and in front of us
we have the World Series. We're the best. We know, right? In baseball, and then
the
soccer,
world of the United States.
The world of the United States.
Yes, I know.
And that's why I want to hear about this, because it's like the one thing I would say to you is the one thing I fell in love with about the World Cup was seeing the Tartan Army in Scotland coming to the United States, drinking all of our beer, all of these different countries coming here. Yeah. And then it felt like, and somebody said it so well, where it felt like all the cousins from around the world were coming over, even though our parents really don't like each other. Right. And then all of a sudden they realized, number one, America is amazing. Mm-hmm. I saw the Japanese guys that went to Buc-ee's and lost his mind, right? Or
those were the best posts.
They were fantastic, right? And all of a sudden we as a world did feel like closer together.
100%.
And we were cheering. Yeah. So is that what it felt like at a game?
Felt exactly like that. The family in front of us was a Paraguay, fans, and there was a father and a teenage son and probably a 10 or 12-year-old. And when the first American goal happened, the youngest one started crying, kind of just really upset. And in his mind, he had no idea about winning and losing, particularly in a world stage. And the middle son was trying to console him, and then we're trying to celebrate at the same time. We're feeling really bad, because this family is from Paraguay and they're in the United States and they're fans of their team. And it had this amazing feeling of just not amazing, but this big energy of defeat and winning, and then caring and consoling and not feeling bad about one thing, but feeling good about another. It was all kinds of emotions.
It's the best of the human experience at once.
It was really wild. And that carried through to all the games. And just going to see the England game, I mean, they have the best chance. They have they have all the great music, and the energy of that when they were, singing and stuff, and the whole stadium feels it. And you're just like, I'm at an Oasis concert right now. Right. I mean, it was that wild. It was an amazing experience. All 3 games were just incredible.
I think we touched on something that, I'm always excited about talking to anybody who comes in here, because we want to know how you found the Valley, why you love it, and how you're making it better, right? And you're definitely doing that on multiple levels.
Thank you.
The beauty of, this conversation, and they just kind of go where they go, but it seems like the overall theme that we've all been discussing is the fact that life is still very much a massively multiplayer game with people from around the world. And if I watch it on television, I'm sitting in my couch watching something on TV and hearing about you being at the Cup, World Cup, which kind of comes on our radar every few years. And this year, because it was in the United States, it was definitely on our radar. We have traded so much of our community for convenience digitally. And the things that you're doing with Standing Sun Music, Analogue now, Listening Bar, playing things where people are all coming together and really love just kind of being together and having a community experience seems to be like a little bit of a throughput of your life. And I think you're sharing exactly the thing that every single person in this world is desperately screaming for.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still stuck in this weird COVID haze of I'm at home, I leave my house, I go to work, and then I come back to my house. And that third place, Adam Firestone was in here a few months ago, and he goes, for any great community to thrive, you need two things. You need a really great place to get a cup of coffee and a really great place to get a beer or a glass of wine after work and to meet up with someone and go to that third place.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for creating a new third place in Solvang and for our community that if you love music, hey, go there. If you like pizza, hey, go there. If you like beer and wine, hey, go there. But I'm personally really excited to go over and just like hang out and soak it up, man.
I can't wait to see you there.
Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything, this is where you plug everything. So tell us where you are. Tell us where to find it on Instagram. Give us the info.
Let's see. I mean, my main Instagram is Standing Sun, and it kind of does all things of my life. We do have an Instagram for Analogue Room. It's Analogue Room SYV. Follow us on both, and we'll put out all the information. We'll put out all our schedule and particular stuff on the Analogue one, and then on mine, it might be the music stuff at Standing Sun. It might be stuff about Analogue Room. Might be just going to the World Cup or heading to Monza for F1 next.
Oh, you're killing me. Listen, I don't want to be anyone else in life, but you're running a pretty strong contender here, dude. So everybody, that's been Chopping It Up with me and John Wright. Thanks for coming in, John. Every week, tune into Crazy Country. We always have a new guest. I try to get a really interesting person every week. Thank you, John, for coming in. But you know what? We live in the Santa Ynez Valley. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Go outside. Go check out Analogue. Go taste some wine. Go eat some good food. But really, everybody go out and make a new friend and be in community. I mean, that's the best possible thing we can do.
That's perfect.
So you have been listening to Chopping It Up on 105.9 Crazy Country. Back to your regularly scheduled programming.